Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to another episode of I'm Ready, a SpongePod Squarecast. I'm Captain Eric, and we are continuing our sail through the second season of SpongeBob SquarePants. Sometimes you need to get your crew together to have a good time, and there's no better crew that I can think of than the crew that I've made from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie Rehydrated project. And so I welcome on today's episode Alexis, Princess Pasta Dash, and Jeremy.
I dropped the Princess 1,000 years ago.
No,
It's Pasta Dash creation.
You cannot be knighted a princess and then just drop that title. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, it's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
Also, just pre-warning, this is apparently also going to be a possible grab bag of other SpongeBob SquarePants movie Rehydrated cast and crew members because we're recording this in a public server.
Well, it's not public. It's more like
public in the way that we have a group of friends who might join in. Anyway, there might be some surprises. Who knows? This is all live. We have no control over this. Today we watched the episode Frankendoodle, which is literally, and as we were watching, one of the most iconic episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants that has ever existed, and easily one of the most quotable.
Probably one of my favorite. I shouldn't say one of my favorites. Probably my favorite. Period.
Yeah, this is talk about. I mean, one of the many times on this podcast, and especially during season 2, I've talked about many episodes being complete home runs. This is on another level of a home run where the jokes themselves, just one after another, you miss jokes because you're laughing too hard.
It's really kind of just one of a kind in a way. It approaches the fourth wall in a way other cartoons don't really tend to. If you know what I'm saying.
And here's another surprise. Hello.
What do you mean a surprise? I ain't no surprise.
Oh, welcome to the Squarecast, Aqua.
Yeah, you're on a podcast right
Yeah,
now.
we're recording right now. This is all live. This is the Frankendoodle episode. Welcome.
Why are you doing this in here?
Well, we're having fun.
Are you serious? Or
Yeah,
are
I'm
you
dead
making-
serious. We are recording this right now.
Okay.
Well, have you seen the
That's
episode
unexpected.
Frankendoodle?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course I have.
Oh, well, that's what we're talking about. It is the second half of the
Yeah, what is
34th
he? Some
episode
kind of square?
of Squares?
A squirm.
It is the second half of the 34th episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. First aired on January 21st, 2002. It was directed by Paul Tibbitt and Walt Dorn, and was written by Walt Dorn, Paul Tibbitt, and Meriwether Williams.
Also voiced by Paul Tibbitt. We discovered watching.
What was-
Oh, I thought you said Mary whatever was voiced by Paul Tibbitt.
No, those are writers. They are not characters.
No, I know. I thought that's what Jeremy said.
We were trying to figure out who voiced Doodle Bob in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, it's
And,
Paul Tibbitt.
Yeah.
And the artist at sea, who is at the beginning and end of the episode, is played by Doug Lawrence, who also voices Plankton.
Yeah.
He's dubbing over himself though, right?
I think that's just a part of the joke.
Yeah. Either way, that guy has a beautiful voice. He should be in more than just SpongeBob. If he isn't, I didn't check.
No, I think he's done a few other things, but not as much as you'd think. His time is filled up by writing and acting on the shows.
Oh, I didn't know he was a writer as well.
Yeah, he's been writing on it for a long time. The episode starts out with a live action setting of an artist out on a boat in the middle of the legitimately, if he's above Bikini Bottom, he's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Mhm.
Near a single island that is uninhabited. Like, what is this guy doing out here with a single pencil?
He's out the ground zero for the Hasselhoff incident.
No oars.
How
No.
does this fit into the SpongeBob lore? I don't know.
He was using the pencil as an oar. That's why he was so distressed. When he
Well, this is before the Hasselhoff incident.
Hmm.
This is a few years before.
What, do they have a timeline or something?
future ground zero.
There's
They do.
continuity. I believe it.
SpongeBob.
There actually is a SpongeBob timeline, but the only detail in the timeline is just that the movie happens at the end of it.
Wow.
Oh, that is true. So we have an artist at sea who, as he's about to draw on his easel, drops a pencil into the ocean, which falls in between SpongeBob and Patrick as they're playing a game of rock, paper, scissors with bubbles, although Patrick seems to only pull out paper as an option. I'm only taking that as he doesn't know how to blow bubbles of rocks or scissors, and he got the paper down, and that's all he's gonna do.
I just don't think he even really knows what a rock is, despite living under one.
That's
funny.
that's a pretty funny joke.
Oh my gosh, did they make him live under a rock because he's stupid, he doesn't know anything?
I mean,
Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
did you
Maybe I'm living under one.
did you never got that
Oh my god, I just got that too. I'm not even joking. I never knew that. Wow.
I mean, I don't
It's
know.
supposed to be
Starfish
the show,
like
too.
to stick to rocks. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
I can imagine Hillenberg and a few other writers just like cackling in a room once they came up with that joke. Just the fact like they'd have a dim-witted starfish under a rock.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Cormier, you could probably help me with this. They lampshaded that in the show at one point, didn't they? Like, it's like, what, you live under a rock? Yes.
Yeah, like I mean, it's been a joke several times, I believe. Like a little jabs here and there, just mentions of it, and it just, little funny visual gag wordplay. The pencil though is just a picture of a pencil, not like an animated SpongeBob pencil.
That's my favorite detail. It's just like
It works well.
the episode.
They make it look good and make it work in the world it's in.
Yeah.
It feels out of place, but then at the same time it doesn't.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've known a couple other of shows that tried to do the same thing, as like a creep factor, as like a joke or something. It always looked way too weird to even laugh at. Like, there's this show I don't know if you've seen called Uncle Grandpa, where one of the characters is just like a PNG of a tiger, but it's so hard to laugh at because like it's just animated so stiffly that you can't really get any punch out of anything it does.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the way that it was animated, it definitely. Would you imagine that they took frames out, or just put less frames in for it?
It's just like they Frankensteined other tiger photos on top of it when it like spoke or sat down.
It didn't really speak either. It just made noises and like it didn't really have a
Yeah.
need to be there.
Tiger roar. That was all it did. It was just the Chewbacca. Anyways, back to SpongeBob. Oh,
No, this is an Uncle Grandpa.
to segue back into SpongeBob, the creator of that show worked on SpongeBob in the later seasons. His name is Casey Alexander.
Wait, the creator of
Oh.
Uncle Grandpa?
No, the
Yeah.
creator of SpongeBob. Yeah, he worked on SpongeBob. Can you believe that? That's crazy.
No, well, did he after the show end go over to SpongeBob?
No. It
Or-
was his work on SpongeBob that convinced Cartoon Network to pick up a show from him, I think.
That's pretty impressive.
And I think he still works on the show. I'd have to look it up to make sure, but you know.
Oh,
someone to talk
absolutely.
to.
Eventually, so SpongeBob and Patrick have this realistic pencil. They start doodling, and the thing about this pencil, for some reason, is that when it enters underwater, the drawings then become alive.
I think
They
it's
just
more
live.
because it entered the cartoon world, the world of SpongeBob, and he's a drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a. You know what? When I watch this episode, it reminds me of the shorts from the Looney Tunes where Daffy Duck or Bugs Bunny would be like arguing with the animator, and they would paint on them and draw other characters in, and it was like the artist was
Oh,
torturing
right.
the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
like Duck Amuck.
yes, all of those. Where yeah, so a realistic pencil entering a cartoon world would have that mad ability to draw animation.
But it's not like lampshaded too heavily. Like, it's obviously a fourth wall break, but it still works without taking you out of the experience on purpose, because they just describe it as a magic pencil. They don't really lampshade the fact that they're 2D creatures. SpongeBob even says that he's 3D at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and you know they don't
Not
dwell on it too much. Like they're amazed by it and they just move on quickly. Even Squidward, when he sees the hairpiece that enters his life, which was originally a mustache that was drawn on Patrick, when it flies away, Squidward doesn't even for a second question about his hairpiece flying away. He just gets up and gets back in his house.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't really question that he suddenly got hair too.
That is fair. That's incredibly fair. So at this point, SpongeBob and Patrick with this pencil have created a few creatures. They've erased a few of these drawings. They've messed with Squidward. And now it's time to move on to drawing SpongeBob, which Patrick draws a very crude drawing of SpongeBob on the ground, which comes alive and turns into...
No, it was SpongeBob who drew it.
Oh, wow. I'm...
Yeah.
Cut all of that out.
Man.
So SpongeBob decides to draw himself on the sand and draws a very crude version of himself. Not really well drawn eyes, limbs, but you can tell it's SpongeBob. When it becomes alive, it's certainly a creepy animation. It's creepy noises that it's making. It's off-putting the way it moves around. But this drawing is not nice like SpongeBob is. It doesn't really want to be SpongeBob. It grabs the pencil and basically runs off into the world, causing havoc. What do you guys think about Doodlebob?
I think like it's weird that such an iconic character, it only showed up the one time until like 10 seasons later, where he comes back in that one episode. But the weird part is that he's like the star of like a couple of spin-off games, I think. If you've ever heard of like that Drawn to Life SpongeBob, or that they even had their own like WarioWare clone that was about Doodlebob, I think, called SpongeBob Squiggle Pants.
I think it definitely featured some mini games with Doodlebob in it.
So yeah, like you wouldn't expect him to have much staying power, but then like 5 or 6 years later, he just started popping up in more places until he made his way back into the show for one more episode.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe it's just the creative nature of the character, but you're like one episode, and you're memed for life. And especially out of this episode, there was like several very popular internet phrases and memes, just even out of like a 30-second sequence of this episode.
Oh yeah, like we should probably talk about that. When they find his crudely drawn pineapple house, there's just like home run after home run of a joke. You pointed out there's like 10 home runs in that one 30-second sequence.
I mean, Patrick getting hit in the head with the wrench and saying, "Where's the leak, ma'am?" is probably my favorite Patrick line of all time.
Yeah.
Patrick wishing Doodle Bob a happy birthday, getting hit in the head with a rock and saying, "You're welcome," is another
Oh, Jeremy,
Patrick moment.
do you remember that one time that for your birthday I made you that card?
Oh yeah. Alexis. Alexis drew me a version of that for my birthday. I still have it in my room somewhere. I could take a picture of it and show you guys later. Well, not the people listening to the podcast.
Did she draw out Patrick getting with the rock on his head?
No. Drew it
So-
with the Balls characters.
It was like, have you watched Gravity Falls?
I have.
So remember the episode where they make like copies of themselves and they're like paper. They're out of the printer.
Yep.
And there's Paper Jam Dipper.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like
it was like the Paper Jam Dipper.
yeah, so instead of Doodle Bob, that was, and it was like Dipper and Mabel.
And you made the entire card? That's incredible. Like, how many years ago was this?
I forget.
That wasn't that long ago. It was maybe like 2, if anything.
Did you color it all in together? Like, what did you
I feel like
mark?
possibly 4. It was just black and white.
I've got another idea. This'll be the ultimate prank. I'll draw me, and when Squidward answers the door, it won't be me. Aw, look at him. Ain't he a doll? All he needs is a tie. Ready for action!
Quack, 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 quack.
Ah!
Magic Conj, will I ever get to meet Tom Kenny?
Maybe someday.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Should I tell fans of the show how they can support us?
Yes.
Goofy Goobers, supporting the show is shockingly easier than catching a blue jellyfish. Right from our Anchor page, anchor.fm/spongepod, you can find links to all of our social media and a support button if you happen to have a few extra clams. Also follow us on twitch.tv/SpongeBobPodcast, where it's not only the official home to our sister show, Video Bob Game Pants, it's also where I stream live drawings of various Nickelodeon characters and host the opportunity for commissions and giveaways. Lastly, the official merchandise store is now open at redbubble.com/people/SpongePod, where various designs will be uploaded inspired by our show, including our official logo, which is now available on a multitude of products like t-shirts, stickers, duvet covers, and even a shower curtain. This is a podcast by a fan, for fans, and will always be fan-driven. Any way you see fit on supporting our show is much appreciated. Thank you, and enjoy.
Come on, Patrick, give me a boost up.
Can't we just stay down here where it's safe?
No way. I created this monster, and I've got to stop him. See what I mean, Patrick?
Where's the leak, ma'am?
So after like all of the shenanigans with Doodle Bob causing now, to be fair, when he left the characters, we got to mention this. He does make his own pineapple and just seems to want to live by himself. Do you think maybe the right course of action was to leave him alone?
No. He beat up Squidward. They needed to get revenge.
I wonder why he did. I wonder why he like went along with the plan of just going up to the. I mean, maybe he is inherently evil just because the drawing does. I don't know. There's a lot of questions with that pencil. Maybe it comes from the artist's interpretation and what they're thinking at the time, but then that's weird.
He's SpongeBob's internalized hatred for Squidward. The soul of the little Squidward crab got sucked inside of him. He wanted to...
Weird crab, I love it.
That's fair. Another one of the drawings of the day. Patrick's drawing of Squidward. Once they get Doodle Bob's pencil away from him, he is almost completely erased by SpongeBob, who takes his victory a little bit too seriously. one of the funnier moments of this episode. And then we find out that Doodle Bob is actually not dead. One of his arms still remained, which was nice to see that it was still sentient enough to walk around, kind of like Thing from the Addams Family. And get itself...
A stick creature, but reversed.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily it wasn't the other arm, which was just those 3 nubs and wouldn't really have walked well to the house.
It had enough anatomy left in it to use the restroom, which I don't want to think about too hard.
It just... all you know is that it flushed the toilet. You don't have to assume it used the bathroom.
So many mysteries regarding this character. Perhaps tonight we'll solve them all.
And just the fact that apparently SpongeBob's house has 3 floors now.
Oh, yeah.
The inside structure of his house amazes me.
I mean,
one of the prequel episodes, his house used to be taller until Doodle Bob erased the walls later in the episode. He erased the 2nd floor.
Just the entire floor went down one shift. Eventually, during the so Doodle Bob, his hand is able to get into SpongeBob's bedroom, steal the pencil back, and perfectly draw himself back. Which also SpongeBob is able to do later in the episode, which was kind of weird that he was able to kind of like reconstruct himself with a pencil. But he is a cartoon character, so it works. I don't know. Like, the powers of the pencil are very weird and out there, and I love it. Like, absolutely love it. But apparently any of these drawings, if they touch paper, they just get sucked into it. But not SpongeBob.
How much of SpongeBob would get sucked up into the book?
That's what I was thinking. Like, come on, guys, where is this line going here? But Doodle Bob eventually gets slapped in a book. Apparently, with SpongeBob has a book in his library that just has no. It's completely empty. It's like a journal or a lineless journal that we get a nice little drawing of Doodle Bob that can be hung up.
It's one of those books he keeps around to make people think that he reads.
Which we rarely see him do. And that is pretty much the end of Doodle Bob, Frankendoodle. The pencil gets sent back up into the artist's hands, who once again gets to continue his drawings at sea, but unfortunately the pencil breaks. And he didn't bring a pencil sharpener, which is apparently the 2nd rule of the artist at sea, according to the narrator. How that guy got out there with no oars and with a full easel and all that paper and didn't bring any other equipment, beyond me. I have no ill will towards the guy, but what an idiot.
I do.
Someone's got to have the contrary opinion.
He got stuck out there. You could still see him in the movie. He built a pier in the middle of the ocean, knocked Dennis off of David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, if you look close during the scene where Hasselhoff is like flexing.
You could see a skeleton riding in a boat.
Nice.
Wait, are you serious?
No.
Oh, I was like, oh, that would have been so cool.
Oh.
Speaking out of what I said earlier, like how it's weird the staying power the character ended up having, is like I'm a little bit surprised, like in the earlier seasons, that they didn't show the drawing of Doodle Bob like taped to the wall anymore, which would have been a really funny
That would
story.
have been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have like. See, I kind of don't like how SpongeBob like has occasional continuity, but only when they want to. Like, I don't know if they. I don't know. It's
Like
just,
every TV show was, or at least
It
the ones
just-
you grew up with.
Yeah, it just feels a little lazy to me. Like, you know, as a creator nowadays, because you know, I like to reward people who pay attention and everything like that. You know, but
Yeah, but like you know, Billy and Mandy, that was like our favorite cartoon growing up. They die almost every episode,
that's true.
and they're always back for the next one. But sometimes events that happen in the episode are important later on. Like there's this really funny running gag where they meet Harry Potter, or like a Harry Potter ripoff in one of the episodes, and every time they come back to visit him, he's aged and they have not. And every time somebody is about to bring it up, somebody always changes the subject. And it gets to the point where like he's in his 20s, like his late 20s, and Billy and Mandy are still 6.
I feel like I saw that episode in a fever dream because I can't pinpoint like any scenes, but I know I've seen a Harry Potter Billy and Mandy episode.
They called him Nigel Planter.
Yeah.
Is it worth rewatching?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of
Mandy from time to time, and I still laugh a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of like very childish humor from it, but like overall, it's like it still holds up as much as I remember it too.
It seems to be a show that I think when I was watching it, didn't think it would have as much staying power, but then really as the years got on, it stood its own. It was so one of a kind, and Cartoon Network was really going out there at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Courage on television, and they had a show where the Grim Reaper was just a character.
I swear there was like a small crossover they did. Billy and Mandy did that all the time, where they just like have another character from another show just pop up for a quick gag.
Oh, like Fred Flintstone?
Yeah, except he had a whole episode. But yeah, there was this one episode that turned out to be all just a dream, and there was another character having a dream of the other character dreaming, and then the third fake out happens when it turns out it was just Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends dreaming the entire episode.
I forgot about that one.
What a great end gag.
Yeah.
It's so I always loved it when cartoons like crossed over. I remember with my friend, like we had like come up with other ones and we were like, we should mail this to Cartoon Network.
They had the best they had the best representation of their characters in a world together like ever in the history of cartoons.
Yeah, I love that thing they did where I don't know if you remember CN Invaded.
Yeah, of course. That was such a great event. I hate that they did that once and never again, and no other channel tried doing that.
Yeah.
It worked so well.
But that was such a brilliant idea. I think it was Billy and Mandy actually that was the one to end the trilogy.
I think that was the one to end it all. Was Billy and Mandy?
Yeah, because like it showed up the
trilogy. It was like 5 episodes. It was 5 different shows.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Like, yeah, it was
that
Monday through Friday.
Remember that one episode of Billy and Mandy? I think it was like mainly Billy and Mandy, but it was like the kids next door.
Oh yeah, they had a crossover episode.
Yeah, but like at the beginning, they had him like, oh, I know who to call, and then he calls Ed and Eddie, and then they're like, if you want charity, then go call the kid next door.
Yeah.
Well, then if you remember at the end of that episode in the credits,
yeah,
when they had all the various posters for other crossovers.
Yes.
Like
Samurai Mac.
That's great. I like that.
Is the one we all deserve.
Yeah, there was also the Billy and Mandy movie where Grim gets his Reaper status taken away, and it's reassigned to number 3 of all people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that like legitimately happens in the movie. Like
Yeah.
it's canon that Billy and Mandy and Kids Next Door take place in the same universe.
That's so funny too, because like considering everything, I don't know.
But anyway, guys, like how was it to watch SpongeBob again? How was it to watch this episode? Alexis, you said that you had mixed feelings about this episode as a kid. Now rewatching it as an adult, did you walk away a bit more different? Did you have a different opinion than you did
Well,
as a
I
child?
mean, I liked it. It like I've always liked the one-liners and everything. The thing that always like bugged me about it was because like I so heavily put myself in the shoes of the characters. Like I just felt really bad for the guy that didn't have the pencil
The
and he
artist
was
at
all the
sea.
way yeah, and he was like in the middle of nowhere with no oars and I was just really sad. But like I mean, I don't know.
You thought he died there, but now
I
you know
did.
that he probably did die there,
Yeah, that's
and now we're
yep.
comfortable about it.
I mean, like I said, I've always liked the episode. I didn't like ever hate it or anything, but that part always like stuck with me. Like things like that do because I don't like to
I actually don't like. I don't blame you for finding it too creepy because like there is something slightly off about those scenes because you know he's just being dubbed over. Like,
think
but you're not
that's
gonna catch up on that as a kid. Like it's just like the sounds
yeah.
are off. It's like
I think that's what it is too. Like I just get I have like a little bit of a history of getting creeped out by like im well like I don't want to say imperfect, but like um media where it's not like
Uncanny Valley.
yeah. Yeah, like I am creeped out often by like just regular claymation unless it's smooth like Leica.
Like a
Stuff.
baby bum.
What?
But like if it's really choppy, then it freaks me out. So like I don't watch the Christmas specials. I don't watch like anything like that.
Oh, like
But
wait.
I really like well hold on.
Okay.
I wasn't finished.
All right.
I really like Leica stuff, you know, so like Coraline because like that's super
The correct.
like
Mm.
it's just like super smooth and it like works in my head, you know. Uh like a thing that actually really freaked me out when I was a kid was the opening specifically of Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events with the elf thing because they fake you out in the beginning of the movie, think like making you think they're gonna watch a claymation movie about the littlest elf, and then the lights turn off and you see her like the elf's eyes in the darkness moving around while the narrator talks. That freaked me out so bad, and it still kind of sticks with me a little bit. Like I don't know.
Um.
My sleep paralysis demon is definitely something in claymation. That's all I have to say.
So you're saying that it's not more or less the designs of the characters, but just the choppiness of the
Yes.
animation.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the designs at all. Like
Yeah,
I really like Sail.
Nightmares by Jack Stauber.
Sorry, what?
Her newest Nightmares Opal by Jack Stauber.
Yes, it
Mhm.
is. I really like the designs and I love that story, but it freaked me out so bad when I actually had the courage to watch the real version. Because at
We
first
gotta
I watched.
Podcast is over, by the way, Eric. I don't know if you've seen Opal.
No,
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, you have to see it. You'll love it.
I will absolutely see it.
No, but like, it's claymation and the characters are terrifying looking and it's supposed to be scary, you know, like it's kind of like a horror, isn't it? It's like a thriller, really.
It is objectively a horror, I think.
I think so. And like, you know, it's got the whole package. It's like creepy imagery and creepy songs and like really choppy claymation. Like, ugh.
I mean, you know what? In the end, it really connects well with Frankendoodle. So Like,
Yeah,
I think that's I'm fine, totally fine with that.
he's Uncanny Valley light.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Like,
much, very very
Like,
light.
He kind of twist around while the other characters are frame by frame.
Yeah, this is just we've mentioned the word home run, and it doesn't need to be redundant at this point, but the fact that like all of this humor and this life into this show is just coming out episode by episode at this point is incredible. That writer's room. All right, so those writers did awesome. They were not on fire. They were in a pool of water. They were in a lukewarm jacuzzi. Not too
they were
hot.
swimming around.
Not too hot now. Watch the temperature there.
Damn it, we can't cut any of it out because we need that for context.
Yay, less editing for me. All right, everybody go check the SpongeBob SquarePants movie Rehydrated. Check it out on Twitter. It's coming out later this year.
Check us out, we're
There are
awesome.
so many scenes available on Twitter that are constantly retweeted by the Twitter account. And if you need that Twitter account, just look in the podcast description. Look in the video description. It'll be there. Go flood your eyes with all of the SpongeBob content goodness all over.
I would like to make an exclusive announcement here.
Do it!
Yeah. So, well, first of all, this isn't so exclusive, but we recently passed our animation deadline. So most, if not all of the scenes are turned in now. We still have an extension for a lot of people because of, well, like I said, we have a lot of people that are taking the extension because they joined late or had some issues with school and everything, which is fair. But anyway, like most of them are done, turned in. It's really exciting because we're seeing a lot of the stuff like next to each other. But anyway, now that all the animation stuff is mostly done, our Twitter is going to start hosting some fun little events.
Ooh.
Like little contests. I think the plan right now is to do, like art contests in the community, in the server, and the winner gets posted on the Twitter account. So they will be hosted by the person who's running the Twitter. His name's Nick. And yeah, so like if you want to get in on that, that's going to be open to the whole community. So
All right,
you
so
should
you can join the community
Discord.
at any time.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have our Discord server link literally everywhere. Like look at the bottom of one of our videos, or like,
It's definitely. Do you have it pinned on the Twitter account?
I'm pretty sure we do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be there somewhere.
Like we have
if
a
you
pinned
want
one.
it, find it. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have it in the description of most of our videos, if not all of them. And it's like, it's detailed in a lot of places. You'll find it if you look for it.
Yeah, it'll be in the podcast description.
Yeah, you'll find it
I'll
pretty
just
quickly.
add it in there. I'll do the work
Okay,
for you.
fair enough. Fair enough.
You just got to do the work of scrolling down, clicking on it, joining, and then joining that contest. But guys,
Well, joining
what?
and verifying.
Joining and
Then
verifying. Yeah, we don't want any robots. If you're a robot out there, don't join. Get out of here, you loser. All right. Thank you everybody for joining me on this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Aqua, you unfortunately didn't get to watch with us, but I'll get you on another one. Don't worry.
I'm sorry for your surprise.
Yeah, I was
Don't
like, well, you guys came
apologize.
in here and you guys were like, "Oh, we're doing a
That
podcast."
was really
Oh,
funny,
yeah.
though. I hope it makes it into the final cut.
It all does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the part that you
I
said
love
you would
my
cut
D
out.
word that I
Yep.
typed out is too risque.
What? What was risque?
My D word.
Darn it. Like as in, darn it, this podcast is ending.
Magic Conj, will I ever get to meet Tom Kenny?
Maybe someday.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Should I tell fans of the show how they can support us?
Yes.
Goofy Goobers, supporting the show is shockingly easier than catching a blue jellyfish. Right from our Anchor page, anchor.fm/SpongePod, you can find links to all of our social media and a support button if you happen to have a few extra clams. Also follow us on twitch.tv/SpongeBobPodcast, where it's not only the official home to our sister show, Video Bob Game Pants, it's also where I stream live drawings of various Nickelodeon characters and host the opportunity for commissions and giveaways. Lastly, the official merchandise store is now open at redbubble.com/people/SpongePod, where various designs will be uploaded inspired by our show, including our official logo, which is now available on a multitude of products like t-shirts, stickers, duvet covers, and even a shower curtain. This is a podcast by a fan, for fans, and will always be fan-driven. Any way you see fit on supporting our show is much appreciated. Thank you, and enjoy.